This is Radar from the Red Tape Blog coming at you with another edition of Movie Reviews Observation number 185. As always, again, got a full week of movies here. So the first movie I watched was the TMNT new movie Mutant Mayhem. And I'm a huge Evan Goldberg, Seth Rogen fan in terms of all the comedies, even dramas they make. And I've seen every single cartoon of TMNT, even if I haven't seen every episode, every live action movie, every animated movie. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I really was hoping that this joint venture would be great. But first things first, animation was horrible. Like, it was odd. It was weird. The whole braces on one, Michelangelo and the glass on Donatello threw me off. And I don't know what's up with Evan Goldberg and Seth Rogen. The music was terrible. I don't care if it's hip-hop, rap, R&B, pop, rap, rock and roll, jazz, classical music. It was just bad music choice, okay? And Donatello was voiced by a girl. And I'm just like, I thought we're in a world where everyone has to have the certain race and the certain thing, you know, like where it has to be the same race and ethnicity. But they have a girl voicing Donatello as a guy. That threw me off. And all the big time voice actors, like, obviously Seth Rogen was in the movie. And Paul Rudd did a good job of sounding like Andy Samberg. But again, the voice cast was all the adults saying like Bebop and the other guy, the Rhino and the pig and all the other mutants, like, they were good. Even Ice Cube voicing Superfly, the bad guy. Like, they got the adult character, like Master Splinter, be voiced by Jackie Chan. So it's, like, good a cast for that. But, like, the children, I remember Alan Richardson playing him in the live-action movie. Like, I honestly remember when I watch these movies where someone's voicing it, like, you can remember who was voicing it, and you're like, that's cool. Okay? Other issue was they made April O'Neil a high school girl because the Turtles are in high school, and I know that's why they're called teenage, but they could still be like 18 or 19 and be adults, right? So they made it where they're infatuated with a chunky black girl with glasses, and it didn't do with race. Like, I don't care if Angela Bassett played April O'Neil in a movie back in the day, or Halle Berry did, or the fact that Iris West Allen, you know, in the Flash the Flash franchise is black. It's a matter of who plays them, and she was bad. So in this one, they're making her nickname is Puke Girl, and it's just like April O'Neil is supposed to be a blonde, a redheaded woman who's already already in the news. So like the character story was even bad there. And there was no Shredder as a bad guy, so that's a negative of the villain not being in the movie. And it was about these mutants, and then the huge fly one, and them stopping them, Master Splinter not wanting them to go up above. You know, like, okay, and it was 9-7 minutes, so it's age appropriate, it's not too long. But again, the music is terrible, the animation's off, the voice acting of the four turtles is off, the villain's not as good, April O'Neil's not as good, and guess what? They're missing Casey Jones. That's my favorite character in the whole entire thing. Like, he is the other human they work with. Like, obviously, it's the four turtle, Master Splinter, and April. That's 6, but he's the 7th main character, and Shredder's the 8th main character. Like, I don't get it. I did like that the mutants work with them and stuff, but, like, maybe this children's movie was made for children because there's a lot of immature, like, jokes and, like, silliness that in most children movies, sometimes they're geared for everyone. I guess this one was not geared for everyone. And then I watched Adam Driver 65, where it's cool to think of a guy from another planet visiting Earth before the dinosaurs were destroyed. But as I said, it was way too much like The Quiet Place because it's made by those people. It's PG-13, so it's not inappropriate. And it's also 93 minutes. But the writing wasn't that great, and it was like Quiet Place where there's not a lot of talking because the girl that was on the ship with him can't speak English, so they have to, like, be quiet and use signal. And it's cool. Any movie with dinosaurs, Adam Driver, you sign me up. I like dinosaur movies, I like science fiction movies, and I like Adam Driver. He's a good actor. Star Wars, etc. But the script wasn't that great, and the special effects, I was watching with a friend, and they were just basic special effects. They could have gone out a little bit more on the special effects, but it wasn't bad. It just said it looked like unknown creatures in The Quiet Place. It was dinosaurs. And you have to survive on the planet before the Earth destroyed. So the plot sounded great. Adam Driver's a good actor. And Ariana Greenblatt did a good job as the girl who couldn't speak to him in the same language. But it was just below average. It was subpar. Just was not what I thought. Then I watched The Old Way with Nicolas Cage, where he recently was like Superman in a cameo. This is his first time leading a Western. He's now, instead of making movies to pay off all of his debts at his island, where it's just like, it's just all these bad movies are instant DVDs, and I like instant to DVD, he's like, I'm going to start in a Western where he's this first ever time as a Western. So the cold-blooded gunslinger turned family man, and of course, someone from his past comes back and hurts him, and he's got to go avenge his wife's death. and he takes his daughter. It's very much like Kick Butt, where he teaches his daughter how to fight crime in that one, and this one, how to use a gun, how to survive, how to be just someone who takes care of themselves. And I recognize the bad guy, his group of people, the marshal and his group of people. Like, I recognize people. So it was a very good cast. The script was well put out and well thought out. And the girl had a lot of snappy one-liners, and there's just a lot of good dialogue between everyone. So I got to give credit to the scriptwriter, good, to the casting director, not bad. It's cool to see Clint Howard, Ron Howard's brother, because he's actually continued to be in acting while his brother got directing, and it was cool to see him to be in this movie at his age and being part of the bad guys. It was pretty cool. And again, 90-something minutes, so not too long. Yes, it's rated R for violence, but it's not like terrible violence. The only thing about this movie I didn't like is the ending. I don't want to spoil it, I just did not like the ending. But again, this is actually a quality Nicolas Cage movie that, as I said, well thought out with the script and the dialogue and the actors and the scenery and all the other stuff. So it was really good. Then I watched Christmas with the Campbells. Well, I'm a huge Alex Moffat fan from SNL when he played Trump in The British Son and impersonation. So he's good at playing like a frat boy, finance bro, where that's all he's worried about. And this movie was very much sexual because he's talking about it all the time. His mother is talking about it all the time, and it's just out in the open. It's just a lot of naughty, inappropriate conversations, which is why I don't know why there's no rating on here. But it should be rated R for the dialogue, and there's no nudity or sex in the movie, but it's just talked about. It's just vulgar, the dialogue. His mother, who's voiced by Julia Duffy, who I know from Drake and Josh as the teacher, she was just talking about it nonstop, and it's like, okay. Then, Justin Long was like the cousin who likes to be in the wild, and the movie is Brittany Snow, who, from Pitch Perfect and her own TV show with Bradley Whitford, where she and Alex Moffat are dating. They see a life together, but then he dumps her before Christmas, and he goes to New York for a job. Then guess what happens? She gets invited by the parents because she loves hanging out with the parents, that small little town. They come there a lot. They're close, they invite him. But awkward moment, Alex Moffat comes back, and she's got to have to deal with that, and the dialogue was not great. And, then there's this old, fat, redheaded lady who goes, she's a whore, she's a hoe, all these things. Like, why is she here? She broken up with her. She's out there trying to slut her around and stuff. And they see her talking all the time. And I'm like, the cutaway to that character was so unneeded and stupid because there's just vulgar things coming out of her mouth. George Wendt, I'm surprised for an actor like on Cheers, who's been in the industry for a long time. And I've seen him maybe in a handful of movies, maybe 5, maybe 6 in the last 20, 30 years. Why would he get up to be in a movie like this unless he really wanted to be in this movie? And maybe because Vince Vaughn produced it, maybe that's what he did. But I just don't know why George Wendt of Cheers just would be in this movie where he's going with the flow because his son says stupid stuff. His wife in the movie said stupid stuff. The ladies in the town said stupid stuff. And Justin Long with a little southern accent was interesting. But again, that's what you get for a Christmas movie. But Saving Grace, it is 90-something minutes, okay? The cast is well known. And Joanna Garcia Swisher, my guy Nick Swisher's wife, supposedly had a thing with Justin Long. But then now the thing with Alex Moffat, and she's saying vulgar things. I don't know. It's just like cheesy, rom-com Christmas movie that's definitely pretty vulgar for a rom-com. So, I would say it's a type of movie like Adam Driver 65 that you don't pay for. You see it on cable or streaming, and it's free, or you get it from the library or Redbox, you watch it. Then I watched The Locksmith. And the thing about The Locksmith was I like Ryan Phillippe, but I'm going to be honest with you. Kate Bosworth, I wouldn't pick her out of a lineup of famous people or name a movie she was in, and she wasn't believable as a cop. Any movie with Ving Rhames, he carries the plot. He's a very good character actor. He's just the moral compass of this. And it's about a locksmith who works with a crooked cop who gets him involved with something, and his foster brother gets shot. And he goes to prison for years and leaves his wife and his kid under Ving Rhames to try to there save his life. And obviously, he gets sucked back into the world of crooked cops, it says, and gangster because of his foster sister who says he owes her, and he gets involved in it. And then obviously there's all these crooked cops, and his wife's a cop, and he's trying to handle himself, and it goes down south. Again, he's got to save his daughter. He's got to avenge a death. There was enough action, and the Saving Grace, it was barely 90 minutes. It was 85 to 86 minutes, but come on. The script wasn't that great. It was too drama-y more than action-y, and Kate Bosworth, no offense, didn't really seem like a detective or a cop. And she doesn't scream that. But I'm glad Ryan Phillippe gets to be leads in movies because they did him dirty on the Big Sky TV show. The best 2 movies I watched this week I was saving for last. Fool's Paradise, Mission Impossible, Dead Reckoning Part 1. Now, I'll give Charlie Day credit. He literally just is quiet, guy in this movie. It's 90-something minutes. The cast is great. Ken Jeong is his shady publicist. Kate Beckinsale is his co-star and wife. Adrian Brody plays his co-star. Sudeikis plays a crazy guy who makes films, and he's like the Fast and Furious and doing Marvel films and make fun of that. Edie Falco's like his agent, but they made her look ugly, which is hard because she's really beautiful. But Jason Bateman was in the movie barely, so it was a kind of a Common played a crazy guy on the street, and Ray Liotta was, in the movie as well, as like the guy working on set. Malkovich plays some crazy politician. But so basically, he gets released from a mental hospital, Charlie Day, and he doesn't speak, but he looks like a dead ringer for this really annoying actor, and Ray Liotta's fed up with dealing with him, so he takes Charlie Day and goes, you know what? Let's put you on set. And guess what happens? Overnight, he replaces the guy and becomes a huge movie star, and they make fun of it, where it's like all the paparazzi, the Hollywood marriage, adopting kids, getting in trouble with the law, having like an agent, a business manager, a manager, and all these things, and they even had Glenn Howerton, you couldn't tell. His wife was in the movie. Artemis and McBoyle were in the movie, and the father from Young Sheldon was in the movie, which was good. And there was all these other characters briefly like working on set or just appeared in the movie. And I'm like, I know that guy, like some comedians, some actors from other projects. So it was well casted, well written, and well put together. And again, it made me laugh a lot. It was really, really funny, and I kind of liked it. Like Adrian Brody played more of a method actor, but it was still pretty cool to watch this movie with all the It's Always Sunny cast and people that you know. I really, really enjoyed it. It was really, really funny. And it's good when you notice a lot of the cast and you're like, awesome sauce. Like, you're like, I know all these cast people in there, from the Hollywood people to the people that work for him, and then everybody. Then I watched Mission Impossible, and I'm glad that I knew that this was going to be a whole cliffhanger thing, because with Spider-Man and Fast and Furious movies recently, I spend 2.5 hours, 3 hours in the movie, and you're like, what? It's a cliffhanger. So again, a little bit too long for a movie, but again, Tom Cruise is trying to get all these movies done with before he's too old to do stunts and stuff, and it's not inappropriate to be 13. Again, Ving Rhames, character actor Simon Pegg, they really get the movie going. Like, I watched the movie for them because they're really good actors, and like I like watching their supporting role. I don't understand the whole woman that's like wanted by like the bad guy, good guys and the bad guy. Maybe it's been so long since the other movie, but her character was confusing how she was helpful, and of course, like every movie, his love interest dies. It's like, whatever. Like, but she was confusing. Maybe it was just bad writing and explaining that. Haley Atwell being part of the team, I thought was cool because she deserved it after Agent Carter was wrongfully canceled. Then they canceled the other show she was on. So it's cool that she's a part of this franchise. Really cool. You got all this espionage thing where you got like a bad, like a really cool assassin who's this Asian woman. And then the guy who killed his girlfriend originally is being used. And then there's like gangster he has had issues with. And it's cool, like they're also tackling the whole AI thing. They're tackling the whole, oh my God, we got the person in charge of all the agencies in the country. But then we also got the person who's in charge who directly takes care of them and who you can trust and what you can trust, with the technology that got in the wrong hands. So you get the technology, government trusting, all the huge stunts and all the action scenes and all the adventure and all the scenery and all this technology. Because the show was always ahead of its time with all the things they do in the show and in the movie, even though it's come completely away from the show. But it was one of the more enjoyable movies I watched this week. It's the second most enjoyable movie I watched this weekend. One of the best movies I watched this month. And during the 2023 year, going into this 2024. So it was really good. And now it's a cliffhanger, so you just got to deal with it. But overall, Fool's Paradise was the best movie I watched because it was clever, well put together, great cast. Charlie Day is always amazing. Mission Impossible is, again, he always puts his best effort into these movies, so I really enjoyed it. Like, if you haven't watched any of the movies, you need to start watching the franchise. And I will say this. Watching The Locksmith and Adam Driver 65, they're watchable movies. They're just not the best of the best. Christmas with Camels is a cheesy Christmas movie you put on in the background. TMNT, if you have children, yes, watch it with children, but you may not like it. And I can give Nicolas Cage credit. Picking his roles more than just having to pick his role. The script and the cast was great in the old way, so that'd be probably the third best movie I've watched this week. Thank you again for listening to this edition of Movie Revivation number 185. I'm the Entertainment Blog. I'm Raider. See you guys next time.